intelligencesquared.com.
Thank you. My colleague Tristram Hunt spoke about how those who oppose the motion would deny Indians and Ghanaians and Tanzanians and Malaysians agency. And that's certainly true of the two opponents before me. Ashley Jackson, for example, disparagingly says that all that the empire gave us was football and the word fuck off. Now, as for fuck off, I can assure you that in Bengali, Urdu, Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, and other such languages of far greater antiquity than English, we have many, many and better equivalents. As for football, let me remind him of that other sport, much more subtle and beautiful sport, known as cricket. And as has been rightly said about cricket, cricket is an Indian game accidentally invented in the West. Well, let me move to my immediate preceding speaker, Richard Gott, who also denies us agency. Richard spoke about or argued that the empire, the flag was borne by the cross, or Christian missionaries were a crucial part of the empire. Well, in my country, after years and years of trying, there's just 2% of India that is Christian. And a significant section is Roman Catholic, so the missionaries didn't come from here. And an even more significant section were converted in the 1st century AD, before Britain was born, by St. Thomas the Apostle in the state of Kerala. Now, I'm an admirer of Richard Gott, and I've followed his writings in The Guardian and elsewhere, and I know that he is a man of the left. So let me remind him of what that great man of the left, Ho Chi Minh, said. Ho Chi Minh once said, if Mahatma Gandhi had been fighting the French, he would have given up non-violence within a week. But my friends, I've not come here to defend the empire or to praise the British Empire. I've come here to bury it. I've come here to tell you that in large parts of the former colonies, certainly in India, a country that has more people than Africa, so is far more representative of the former British colonies than all of Africa, certainly in India, the British are irrelevant. 75% of India is under 25, and not one of them knows who Queen Victoria was. It's another matter that not many of them know who Mahatma Gandhi was either, but let that pass. Let that pass. Now, if I was to look at the history of my country ever since we became independent, it has some extraordinary achievements. Democracy, which the British denied us, and we invented for ourselves. And even more important than democracy, pluralism. Those of you who've been to India and have seen an Indian rupee note might have noticed, or might not have noticed, but should have noticed, that the denomination of a rupee note, 1, 5, 100 rupees, etc., is written on the note in 17 different languages, indeed in 17 different scripts. Now, this is an astonishing achievement, and it's really Indian pluralism's greatest contribution to the world. I mean, the Americans are paranoid about a few Spanish speakers. It took the English years and decades and centuries to allow the Welsh back their language. And I used to say about the rupee note and what it represented, that the Republic, as a multilingual, multicultural political unit, the Republic of India anticipated the European Union by a mere matter of 50 years. And I'm now going to amend that statement because it appears that we're going to outlive the European Union also by 50 years. So, our achievements: democracy, pluralism, extraordinary economic growth. Gita said that, rightly said, that perhaps the case could be made that the USA runs Britain. Well, I think the Indians are making a strong pitch for the share of that rulership, at least. If you think of Chorus, and if you think of Jaguar, prestigious British companies now in Indian hands. if you reflect on the fact that the only reason really, or maybe the most important reason that British Telecom, British Railways and other such British companies are not yet in the red is the fact that their finances are managed from my hometown, Bangalore. You get a sense of the robustness of the Indian economic achievement, and it's all ours. So we own up to what we've done, and this is my next point, we also take full credit for our errors and mistakes. The great Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, whom Tristram quoted, once said, India is home to all that is truly noble as well as all that is truly disgusting in the human experience. And the Indian rupee note and Sachin Tendulkar are two examples of all that is truly noble in the Indian experience. As for what is truly disgusting, I can give you examples. The way we treat our girl child, female feticide, which has nothing to do with the empire or the British, but all to do with the horrible tradition of son preference among Hinduism. If you look at corruption, which likewise is an Indian art perfected by Indians. It is to do with kinship and family ties that are much more closely connected with public affairs, so that the state becomes privatized by whoever is running it. If you think of the caste system and the continuing oppression of those at the bottom of the heap, those two are really Indian achievements, Indian horrors, if you will. Ashley talked about the past. So did Richard. The last 65 years are, I think, absolutely crucial in understanding the impact of empire. Indians have outgrown the empire, so, as Gita suggested, have most Africans. And the paternalistic idea that the ills were created by the British and we will be cured by guilt-ridden British, such as the three people on the panel here, is utterly mistaken. I'll make one last point. Just as the motion that the colonies the colonies should stop, former colonies should stop blaming the British for their ills, must be carried, so should a corollary, which is that the British should begin expressing their gratefulness for what the colonies have given them. Think, for example, of British cuisine without the Caribbean and the Indian influence. The British had no cuisine, they had no sense of dress before they understood what the sari and the salwar kameez and the sarong and so on could give them. And think finally of my own profession, that of writing. It was well said that the British novel, once the preserve of such writers as Dickens and Hardy, was really dreary and close-minded and parochial and had descended to more and more stories about adultery in Hampstead. And then the British novel, British literature, arguably British culture itself, was saved by Ben Okri, Salman Rushdie, Rohinton Mistry, Amitav Ghosh, et al. I rest my case there. Thank you.